We're live. Hello, Champ for Kids. Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh, getting old with your eyes is just really challenging. Can I just tell you? Hi, everybody. I'm Carrie Bauckham. I am a 6th, 7th, and 8th grade special education teacher. I'm super excited to be hosting the Champ for Kids tonight, and I'm super excited to see so many people here with us for this live Twitter chat where we're going to doodle and we're going to chat. And hopefully there's some learning that happens as well. I see a lot of new faces that some new friends that I'm going to get to see and get to know. I'm going to unwrap her from the blanket. We're in our basement. We live in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. It is cold here and it's cold in our basement. Can I have some blanket too? And can you say hi to everybody?
Hi.
Want to tell them who you are?
I'm Annabeth.
And she is I forget how old you are. Is that bad?
11.
She's my 11-year-old. She's in 6th grade.
Now you're not giving me.
Well, who's closer to me then? She and I do a monthly doodle and chat here every Saturday at 9:30. Not every Saturday. Every third Saturday.
I wish.
of the month, where we doodle and chat about a topic. So we are super. I know, Joy, I should turn the heat up, but it really is nice and toasty upstairs. It's just the basement that is chilly. So I'm super excited to see all the highs. I do see some familiar faces. I see some new faces as well. I love how you all are already interacting, and Julia's already introduced herself. She says she's super excited to see how she can use this in her classroom. I have what I think is a really fun activity planned for us today, and hopefully it'll spark a whole bunch of new ideas that you can bring back into your classroom. But even more than ideas for your classroom, I'm hoping to bring to you today a new mindset when it comes to thinking visually and doodling in your classroom. And that's what the goal of this chat was. So why don't we have everybody introduce themselves? I see Julia introduced herself. If everybody could introduce themselves I see other people saying hi. If you could introduce yourselves to us, tell us where you're from and what you teach if you haven't already. I love to learn where everybody's from. And then also as we're talking, if an idea sparks while we're drawing, we can all talk about it as we go. So we've got Scott from Virginia. Those are my glasses, darling. And Jennifer, who's a 7th grade science teacher. Oh, you want to see if you put them on? If you can see far away? I don't think that's how it works. And we've got Michael from Chicago. It's not supposed to help. Those are my readers, darling.
Yeah, and then doesn't that mean I can read the screen?
No, it's supposed to be for close up, silly.
Yeah, so put the computer right there.
And we've got Camilla. Oh, we've got a great variety of teachers, a lot of middle school teachers, super fun. So I'm super excited to see so many adventurous people here ready to doodle and chat with us. One of the hardest things I find doing a Twitter chat is that on Twitter, it's hard to convey a message of visual thinking and doodle making and then also drawing. And so when when they reached out to me about doing the Champ for Kids, I thought, well, let's try something new. Let's do a video chat. It would be a great opportunity for everybody to be able to chat, to watch me, to hear me, and then also see me draw, and then also just have some really great conversations. So I hope everybody brought pens, pencils, paper, because we're drawing through this whole thing today. We're going to put pencil to paper. Ideas, not art, is always our rule for, we have somebody from India here with us. She says, good morning. So as we enter into this chat, when we're drawing together, it's ideas over art, meaning the quality of your drawing is not important. It's connecting the images with ideas, and that's what's really important. So today we're going to talk about building snowmen. And so before we get into that, I want to share with you guys just the basic idea of what sketchnoting, visual note-taking, you might hear it as visual thinking. All those things mean the same thing. It's using visuals in our notes, right? And the overall process that goes with sketchnoting is we hear and we see information. We take it into our head and we connect what we're learning about to what we already know. And then or we make sense of it and we summarize it in our head into smaller parts. And then we connect those words with images or icons or an image in our head. And then we take our pen and we write down what we're learning about on paper, but then we also connect it with an image or an icon. And when we do that, when we write down the words with pencil or pen, and when we connect those with the images, that modality, that connection, that synthesis, that metacognition that happens in our head really has a huge and powerful impact on the learning of our students, on the recall, the retention. It enhances comprehension. So it really does great things. So besides that process that I just told you about, taking in information in our head, synthesizing it in our head, summarizing it in our head, connecting it with what we imagine, what movie's playing in our head, and then doodling it and drawing on paper, those are the only rules that there are for sketchnoting. However that looks in your classroom, however you apply that to your classroom, that's up to you, to your teaching style, and to your students' learning style. So I hope that makes sense. Hi, Rochelle. Good to see you here. So any questions before we get started about what I said? Should we dump these? Are you gonna make it, or you're not gonna fall asleep on the chat, are you? All right. So as we are drawing and we are talking and we are chatting, as we're all drawing and talking, please, if you have any questions throughout the chat, pipe up, ask a question. If you are sparked with an idea or a question about how to use it in your classroom, how to apply it in your classroom, please don't hesitate to type in and ask the question. So today, I don't know about you guys, but here in the Midwest, we have had our full fair share of snow. Actually, we had like 3 snow days last week. So it got me thinking about the snow and the cold and what snow days can bring to us. And when it snows, one of our favorite things to do is to build snowmen. And so I started to think about that process as I was planning for this chat. And I started to think about how building a snowman is very relatable to sketchnoting and to visual thinking. And so today, you guys are going to practice your sketchnoting, your visual thinking skills, your doodling to learn skills, while we talk about how to build a snowman. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this camera so that you can see the table where Annabeth and I are drawing. So you'll be able to hear my voice and see us drawing. Can you please move? Thank you. Are you okay? You're going to go upstairs? Can you say goodbye to everybody?
Bye.
She is not 100%. She was going to try, but we might have a little bit of cold going around our house. But good thing you guys can't catch it, right? Okay, so I'm going to flip the camera around and we'll put it over here. You'll be able to see my paper, and we're going to talk about how to build a snowman, and we're going to talk about elements and components of sketchnoting and how we can take what we know, which is building a snowman, apply it to something new, which is sketchnoting, so that you guys can learn more about it. Here we go. You got a nice view of my basement. All right. There we go. All right. So I've got my paper here. And the first thing I always like to do with my students whenever we're taking notes on something is always, we're going to put the topic in the center, or its topic somewhere on our paper. So I'm going to put mine up here today. You guys can put yours wherever. I like to have the students write the topic of what we're taking a sketch note on, or what they think the topic is, because it keeps us focused and in tune with what we're doing. So if my topic is how to build a snowman, then everything on this paper should only be about how to build a snowman. So you can have fun with how you write this. You can add some fun fonts, cursive, bubble lettering, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to go with my usual way that I write it with this kind of caps and not all caps. How to build a snowman. Now, if you make a mistake, you spell something wrong, you write the wrong way, or you don't like how you spelled something or drew something, just scribble it out. No big deal. And then we move on. So everything on the sketch note is going to be about how to build a snowman. All right. So we take information in when we're learning, whether it's with our ears or our eyes. And in this case, the information is actually going to come right from your head about what you already know. So I want you guys to start on your paper writing just all over the place in short phrases. I wouldn't get more than a sentence long, or it even could be a single word about what you know about building a snowman. And if you are not drawing along with us and you want to contribute to my sketch note, you can type in the comments there and tell me what you know about building a snowman, and we'll go from there. All right. And so as I sketch note with my students, which is another huge tip, if you want your students to draw in class and take advantage of this incredible tool, you have to draw with them. You are going to have to put the dry erase marker onto the board. We don't use chalk anymore, right? The pen to paper, and you're going to have to draw with them. And in that instant that you put that pen to paper with them and you draw with them, incredible things are going to happen, and a new mindset is going to be created in your classroom because they're going to see that you're taking a risk too. So as I'm sketchnoting, it's not just because we're doing this live chat, but even as I'm sketchnoting with my students in my classroom where I'm teaching, I'm always talking about what's happening in my head, what movie's playing in my head, what information's being unlocked in my head. I imagine that my brain is like a huge warehouse full of boxes. And some of them are really big. Like if you ask me about zombie movies, the box in my head is gigantic. I know a lot about zombie movies. It's like my favorite thing. You ask me about a snowman, how to build a snowman. It's pretty big. I've lived in Illinois for most of my life. So I'm going to unpack that box and put it on my paper. And I do all this thinking out loud while I'm teaching so that I can model this thinking. So let's do this. So what do I know about a snowman? Well, I know we need snow. I mean, I suppose you could build a sand snowman, but then it wouldn't be a sand snowman, right? It's usually cold. There's 3 circles. See, I already spelled something wrong. You usually need a carrot. I never seem to have carrots when I'm building snowman. Some people use scarves. And there's coal that you put on it. You might need a top hat. There are famous snowmen like Frosty the Snowman. Oh, thank you, Phil. Olaf. I was trying to think. I'm like, there's got to be more than one snowman. Olaf likes warm hugs. Top hat, cold, scarves, snowman. They're fun to build together. Carrots. Yes, Christina, carrots. Build together. Oh, I'm so happy, Craig. I'm happy you're here. Oh, a broom. I like that, Phil. Some people use brooms. Oh, yep. Sticks for arms, brooms, sticks for arms. Thank you. Sticks for arms. Oh, rocks we could use for buttons. Very good. Coal is not probably very accessible these days, right? Rocks. I don't know where you find rocks in the middle of winter either. I do too, Phil. And I find that Phil said that he likes the organizational structure of sketch notes. And he's excited to use it in his classroom. I also like, Phil, we're going to get into some more of this too. I hope, we will. But I also like the freedom that it offers us too as educators to organize them however we need to organize them, or let our students organize them too. Mittens. Oh, Camilla, I love it. Mittens. And I spelled it wrong. You spelled it right. Mittens. Mittens. Yeah, we could totally use mittens, Camilla. And then I always loved building with my sisters. Like I have fond memories of building with my sisters. I have 2 sisters. I'm the oldest. And they always seem to lead to snowball fights too. Yes, Phil, this tool, sketchnoting, visual thinking, doodling to learn, can be used with any level of students. And our younger guys, like they already talk in pictures, right? So it's only going to enhance their language development and then also help them with their voice, right? Absolutely. There might be a snowball fight. You know, you're building that snowman, you can't help but, you know, pick a pack of snow out and chuck it at your sister. At least that's what I would, you know. That's what I would do. All right, I'm trying to think. Snow mittens, building a snowman brings memories. Right, then somebody cries. Yes, and it usually I was the one that made somebody cry because I was the older sister and I always got carried away with things. You had to be bundled up when you were building your snowman. Bundled up. I'm happy I'm not alone, Camilla. I had to be bundled up because it was cold out. All right. All right, so we did this, you know, we did this a little bit differently because we took what we already knew and put this on our paper. So it's almost like a lot like the idea flood that my daughters and I do every month, where I talk. This would be a great review activity for students when they're learning. So what we've done is we take everything that we know about a single topic and we flood our paper with words. And then we're gonna do some organizing here and then talk about some other things. And then we're gonna add the icons. So I tend to start with words first, at least when my kiddos are first learning how to sketchnote, because their visualizing skills or their ability to formulate the picture in their head and draw it instantaneously next to the word is usually weak. But then as students develop their visualizing skills and their doodling skills, meaning they're able to think of the image right away and they're able to doodle it right away on their paper, then the 2 processes come together more. So usually I start with words first. And then as students get stronger at sketchnoting and at visualizing and thinking together, then they might write snow and draw the snowflake next to it. They might write the word Olaf and draw Olaf with it right next to it. But at first I let either all the words come down and be filled in the paper, whether it's because I'm talking and they're taking notes, or whether we're doing a review session and they're reviewing what they know. And then I'll have students go back and add images to it, or some of them might actually be comfortable with adding some icons as they go. It's going to depend on how your students feel. Oh, that makes me so happy, Christina. I'm so happy the video is connected with them. And she said that her students who struggle to participate in instruction and can't seem to stop sharing. I love it. That's another reason I do love sketchnotes, is that it gives our students a visual to look to. So if we're going to talk about snowmen tomorrow or in a week from now, students can pull out their sketchnote when it's done. They can look at the images and they don't have to remember what the word was or what the step was, but that image is going to connect so much memory, so much about the conversation, so much about what's happening today, and they'll be able to share so much more. It's just going to enrich all kinds of things. All right, so we've got our words down here. I'm not a huge font person. My daughter, Annabeth, loves to do all kinds of fonts. So there's lots of different ways we can add emphasis to words with cursive or block lettering or script lettering. And I just listed all my words out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take what we know about these words and we're going to organize them. So organizers are things in sketchnotes that organize information. That was a really logical way to say it, right? So examples of containers. Oh, marshmallows. I've never used marshmallows on my snowman, Camilla. But, you know, oh, that just made me think you got to have hot chocolate after you have your snowman, right? Marshmallows. Hot chocolate, warm up. So containers are things that organize information. And containers are things like rectangles, squares, triangles, but they're also talk bubbles, thought bubbles. So things that organize information, things that organize like information. So something that we could do here to organize our information is I could pick all of, I could take this orange marker and I'm going to make rectangles around all the things that you've used to make a snowman. So I'm going to organize all the like information. So to make a snowman, I might have a scarf. I might have sticks for arms. You could also do this by color coding. And color coding is something that we've been doing forever, you guys, right? It's not new to teaching. Anchoring that information with colors. We're going to use a broom, coal, mittens. What else? We said we're going to use marshmallows. I'm going to keep marshmallows with the hot chocolate and the warm. I'm looking around. Rocks. Yep, we said rocks for the body. So my containers are all holding the same information. Oh, 3 circles. We use snow, right? And then I'm going to pick another color for my famous snowman. I'm going to draw a circle around them because they're like snowmen. Oh, you know what? We also need cold for snow. And I guess we could argue that you need 3 circles. And then we've got other things that are in common that are like memories. That was fun to build together. I remember building with my sisters, having snowball fights. I had to bundle up. Man, my hands always got cold first. Memories. And then the after is, so we could have also done that too, you guys. We could have used containers to show before, during, and after. So before you need snow, during would be all these middle parts. After I'm going to get warm and I want my marshmallows. So this is probably very different than a sketch note that you might see, but again, there are no rules. We took the information from our head, we connected it with what we knew, and we flooded our paper with words, and now I'm organizing them using some containers. I'm anchoring the information with colors. So my brain is going to connect that orange with things that snowmen are made of. And I actually like that too, because snowmen also use carrots. We also use carrots in their nose, right? And the orange could also make me remember that. And then I know the pink, to me, is like a heart. So it reminds me of all the things that building snowmen with my sisters brought me. And then the orange or the purple circles are like snowmen circles. And so those are some of our famous snowmen that we thought of. Yes, Kelly, great reminder. We do want to definitely post these on Twitter when we're done. So if you're drawing along with us, we want to see your sketch notes. All right, so I'm going to take a break from the sketch note for a second. So the process of sketchnoting, bringing it into your classroom, there's so many elements to it. And I say there are no rules because there really aren't any rules. And there's so many components of it that as educators, if we just brought one component to our classroom, so much could be enhanced in our classroom. So for example, we're taking in information that when our kids are taking in information when we're talking, learning how to like micro summarize or take lots of information and make it into smaller parts. That's one thing that if we focus on with our students and taught them how to use metacognition and reflection and iteration and connecting with information and make it into smaller parts, just that single act would enhance our students' learning. The next thing I love to talk about, and that I'm super excited to talk to you guys about today, is intentional visualizing, I guess is what I'm going to call it. At least for today, I'm going to call it. So how can we ask our students questions, or what questions can we ask our students that are going to force them to answer in a visual way? And so when we look at this topic that we're doing, how to build a snowman, it reminds me of the times when I would be out in the snow talking to my sisters about the snowman. And we would never just jump in and build the snowman. We would have to have lots of conversations about how we were going to build the snowman. Where were we going to get the scarf? We were going to tell mom we were going to take the scarf. Where were we going to find the rocks or the coal? Were we going to sneak into the refrigerator and take a carrot, or were we going to tell mom? And then we had to plan out how we were going to build our snowman. So I want to take a second to have you guys in the chat tell me, if we were talking about building a snowman and you were asking me questions, what are some questions that you could ask me about building a snowman that would cause me to have to answer in a way that I would be describing what I'm imagining? Great. How big will it be? Well, gee, Michael, I think it's going to be about, I'd like for it to be as tall as me. I wonder if we can build that many, if we can make that many snowballs so that we can make it really, really big, like as tall as me. And I'm 5'9". So I would love a snowman that was 5'9". That's a great question. What will we use for its mouth? Oh, I don't know, Kelly. I think if we can go find some rocks out in the front yard, and if we can find 5 of them, then I think that we can pull, if they're just the right size, I can make those rocks into the shape of a mouth. Where will we get the sticks? Well, I hope we have a tree out in front. If we have one, then maybe we might have to break some branches off, or maybe we can find them on the ground or under the snow. How many buttons will it have? Yeah. Or what will the buttons look like on him, right? Great, Christina. These are fantastic, you guys. So even as you guys are asking me the questions, I hope you're visualizing things, but as I'm answering the questions, you guys can tell that I have a really good plan in mind for what my snowman's going to look like. Just like, what color is the scarf going to be? I don't know where this came from, but I'm imagining a red scarf. So like a big red scarf that hangs and has all the little dangly things on it. And it's going to be nice and long, like down to past its second snow ball. Will it wear a hat? If I can find a hat, thank you, Camilla. Fringes. Yes, I was having word retrieval issues. Will it wear a hat? It probably will, but it probably will be a baseball hat because that's the hat that my dad has. So as you guys are asking these questions that are making me think in my head, imagine in pictures that now I'm answering these questions and you guys already know that I'm visualizing. And that's also something we know as educators is when our students are learning information, when they visualize, when they make a picture in their head, when they create a movie in their head. That's what I'll often ask my students, what movie's playing in your head? When they do that in their head, we know that their comprehension is happening. We know that they're tapping into that visual side of their brain. And that's what we want them to do whether we're talking about information or we're doodling or we're sketchnoting. Just the act of asking these more visual type of questions is going to force them to activate their visual thinking. Thank you so much, Craig, for being here with us. We will miss you. Have fun. Stay warm. Kelly is telling us that she's having some ideas for having some kiddos moderate in the future. That will be super fun. So yeah, so we're working on synthesizing information, putting it in here, organizing it. Organization can happen at any time throughout the sketchnoting process. We just worked on visualizing, so forcing kids to visualize or share their visual thinking with you. And then also, when I'm talking about how to build a snowman, we could also write in here in thought bubbles or question marks, like what questions would we ask about how we're building a snowman, just like you guys did for me. So we're having the conversations. I'm talking to my sisters. How big will it be? What color? Yes, Christina, the organization also helps when students go back and have to share with others. I don't always make my students share with others. I usually use the sketchnote as a tool for me to do instant assessment of how they're doing. So walking around the room while I'm talking or teaching or working with students, you walk around and you see my sketchnote, you already know that I am right on track. I'm asking myself questions about what I'm visualizing, and I can see just in this one little snapshot how much a student has comprehended. We had a question about where will we get the sticks? I agree that this would be a lot funner than writing essays. And actually, to that point, when in my social studies class, we do a ton of sketchnoting, and I actually let the students use the sketchnotes to write their essays or their paragraphs. So it's a great tool to support all learners in their process, whether we have our higher learners who may not need to go back onto this and use it, or some of our students who might need some anchoring or some help thinking of things or organizing things. Sketchnotes can be a great tool to use to support students in their writing. All right, so we've talked about what we know about snowmen. We've connected it with images or with colors. Now I'm going to have you guys practice some of your icon drawing. Yes, Julia, it would be a great assessment, and I do have several teacher friends who do use I should say they allow students to do a portion of the assessment. They give them a choice to sketchnote if they want to. And then the students can sketchnote some of their answer. But I mean, even just looking at this, you can see how much I know about a snowman. I'd like to think I got a solid 4 on standards of snowman almost, right? Kelly says it's always interesting when students start to add icons to their topics. I agree, and I'm going to talk more about that in a second. So now what I want us to do, you guys, is now I want us to do the icons. And so icons are the little doodles or little images that we imagine from our head that we draw on the paper. And like I talked about the warehouse in your head that has boxes of information, I also imagine that there's these shelves in our head. And it's shelves of pictures that we know how to draw. And when we're little, our shelves are jam-packed full of information because we think in pictures. Everything we do is in pictures. We draw, we communicate in pictures, we draw in pictures. When our teachers ask us to do something, we draw in pictures. And then as we get older, we either maintain that library because we love to draw, or somewhere down the road, somebody tells us that our drawing stinks, or you're not an artist, or who do you think you are drawing that stick figure? You stink. And our library, or those shelves in our head, get smaller and smaller and smaller until we only know how to draw a few things. There's a basic alphabet of drawings that everybody knows how to draw, like a square, a circle, a squiggly line, a cloud, a swirl. There's 12 basic symbols. And those stay in our library. And for some of us, that's all that's there right now. And then for others of us, we might have a bigger library because we like to draw a little bit. But the great thing about that library is the more we draw, the more we doodle, the more we visualize, is we can build that library back up. It doesn't have to stay empty. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to read the words. I'm going to read the words out loud. And then I'm going to tell you what I'm imagining in my head when I see that picture. And you guys can chime in like you have been. You are an amazing group. But if you're drawing with me at home, I really, no matter how you feel, whether you're like, I'm not an artist and this makes me have heart palpitations, makes me have heart palpitations and have heavy breathing, you will not die by drawing, I promise. Drawing is like anything, any skill, like running or exercising or cooking. The more you do it, the better you'll get. And so, I'm going to read the words and we're going to visualize. And this is just how I do it in my classroom too. When I'm first starting, when I'm asking kids to draw things, I will talk out loud as I'm drawing them. And I'm usually pretty mean to myself too when I'm drawing. And I do that on purpose because I want kids to feel really good about their drawings and also see that it doesn't have to be perfect. All right, so I see snow, so I'm imagining a snowflake. So a snowflake is like an X with some little lines on it. Also, if you get stuck on a picture and you don't know how to draw it, Google Images is a great place to look to see how things are drawn. Remember, it's about the ideas, not the art. And Kelly had mentioned, I could see that she got, like it was like an instant shocker about, like I can almost feel her smiling when I said we're going to draw icons. Another thing I love about icons is you really get to tap into the kids' imaginations and see what they visualize when they're seeing things. And often it's not what we visualize. And sometimes they'll have these huge stories about what they visualize when they're seeing things. And I love it because that means there's a lot of metacognition and thinking going on in their head about what you're drawing. And I will often walk around and sketchnoting tip, when you walk around and ask students about their drawings, because sometimes, honestly, it's going to be hard to tell what it is, a safe way to ask and engage with them in conversations about their drawings is tell me about what you drew. It's a great freeing statement that is without judgment, and then you don't have to try to guess and then get it wrong, right? So Cole, there's my beautiful thermometer. Rocks, I just drew some squiggly lines. Frosty the snowman, I imagine he's got that big top hat that he wears, and it's a circle with a square on the top, and I think I always remember him smiling. A scarf is kind of like a rectangle, right? And then it's got this little knot at the end, which is also a square. And then and there's those fringes. Got the word right this time. Hot chocolate is a mug. So a mug is like a rectangle with a little half a C there. And then it's going to have some steam on it. Yum. Another great trick for when we're doing icons, and I always tell my students this so they don't get like nervous about me not being able to tell what it is. As soon as you write what it is next to, and this is a trick that Sunny Brown talks about in her book, as soon as you write the word, like if I wrote snowman next to this, as soon as I write that word next to this icon, our brain instantly interprets what it is. I didn't forget the marshmallows. They're right up here. Oh, the marshmallows and the hot chocolate. I'll write those there. As soon as we write the words next to an image that we've drawn, when somebody else looking at your picture looks at it, our brain automatically infers that picture is what the words say next to it. I always think that that's so super cool. It kind of makes me feel not so bad if I really stink at drawing something. All right, sticks for arms. Well, we got to get the sticks up on the arms, and I like the little fingers. And then the carrot. A carrot is like a V with some lines in it. And then the top hats. Where do I want that? Top hat is a square with a head. Then we've got the 3 circles. And we've got coal. I'm going to make fire for coal. Mostly because it's just so darn cold here. Uh-oh, that looks okay. Yeah. All right, mittens. So my thumbs are in. And it's like a big loopy U with a thumb, right? And then I remember I always had strings on mine when we were little. I got to keep those connected to your jacket, right? You don't want to lose them. Maybe I'll add some decorations to my mittens. Oh, a broom. I don't want a witch's broom because that's not a snowman's broom. It would be probably a house broom. I am hoping that everybody is super quiet because they're drawing and not because they have left me or I've lost them. There's my broom. All right, and now I am gonna go into some of these pink parts. Remember, the pink was pink because it was something I loved. And yay, Christina, thank you. We are still here. I love you guys. So I remember that pink is stuff that I really, really loved doing, that it brought me fond memories and I loved. So these are going to be some higher level thinking things that I'm going to have to visualize that are going to be less concrete than these. So I had to bundle up. So I would probably, gosh, draw a stick figure with lots and lots of clothes on it because it was just bundled up. It almost makes me imagine A Christmas Story where the little brother is laying on the ground and he's like, help me, Ralphie, help me. I can't get up. I think he's even a little bit more whinier than that, right? Oh boy, this looks like a army man. What the heck? And his arms are really short. Oh my goodness. I don't know what this looks like. That's okay. He's all bundled up. Oh well. Thank you, Camilla. Fun to build together. So I'm going to remember things when I say fun. I think of happiness, smiling. I think of hearts. I think of teamwork or hands together. Oh boy, that was a little crickety there. Hands together, building with my sisters. So there's 3 of us. So I'm going to have our pigtails going on here. We all had pigtails. You never guess now, right? With my hair. But we had pigtails and we were doing it together. So we're not fighting. We love each other. I think of singing. I love it, Joy. When we're, oh, you having fun, you mean, Joy? Or do you mean building with your sisters? I can't remember if you have sisters. Or do you have a brother? All right, snowball fight. I'm imagining snowballs, which are just circles, right? Flying through the air. So I can use arrows and dotted lines to show action. Boop, boop. All over the place. Singing. Oh, I already read that, Joy. Joy says that she would kick in her snowman. You know, I almost put that on here, that we would always hope that somebody didn't knock over our snowman after we had built it or while we were built it, because it's like, you know, once you finally get that ball rolled just the perfect way and you get it set up and it's out there for everybody to see, you don't want anybody to knock it over. So I don't usually do this, but you guys are inspiring me to do this. So now I'm wondering too, you guys had some questions, like what little visual icons could I put next to these questions that would also help anchor our, might also help our students know what we want. So like, how big will it be? I would put a ruler next to here. So seeing the ruler next to a big or a size question would help some of our learners who might need a visual prompt remember that big or size has to do with a ruler. Where could I find the 6? Well, this is a where question. Well, I might use my eyes to be able to tell where where is. So maybe when we're doing questions for that, if I had icons that I used all the time with my students with certain questions, these little icons, or maybe you pull out a note card while you're asking a question, you have an eye on it, just to remind them this is a visual question that you're asking them that we want to be able to see, or we're going to have to look for where we would find it. And then what color? This is a what question. So maybe our what questions are always question marks. So when we see a question mark, we know that this is a what question. It means our teacher is asking us fact-based questions that we're going to have to look for in the text. Or maybe it's a look and a question. So they look in the text and they ask a question. That's a what question. So any kind of visuals we can write on the board, or even if we're working in a small group or with younger guys, we could have note cards that we hold up while we're asking the questions. So the visuals can also support what we're already doing in our classroom. And these consistent icons also have amazing power in our classroom too. If by using consistent icons for the same type of questioning or for the same type of information that we're taking notes in, we're adding more anchoring to what we're doing with our students' learning. Oh my goodness, we have some fun stories about snowmen there, don't we? All right. Oh, warm. I have to draw a sun because, you know, I could use some warmth in my life. Warmth, hot chocolate. We did that with the marshmallows. Marshmallows, coal. We build it together. All right, so then the last part that we're going to do, we've talked about how to build a snowman, the parts, the feelings that it gave us, questions we could ask that would expect our students to give us a visual answer, to describe what they're imagining in their head. And so now that we've done all of this, you guys asked me wonderful questions. I created a lot of visuals in my head as we were talking. Now it is time for us to each build our own snowman, to draw our own snowman. And what a great drawing to do. It's made of circles and lines and squares, and we all know how to do those. So wherever space you have left on your paper, it's time to bring your snowman to life. Mine is going to be a very trim snowman. So as I'm drawing the snowman, it's making me think there are so many different ways this sketch note could have gone. Besides, doing all of these things with the snowman, we could have started with the snowman. Everybody knows how to draw circles. Everybody knows how to draw a straight line and a square. And what we could have done is we could have taken the snowman and filled it up with the things that we know. So one of the circles could have held everything that building a snowman makes us feel or remember. The middle part could have been everything a snowman is made of. And then the top part could have been a third topic about a snowman. So the snowman actually could have been the containers for us, right? So if you guys remember from the very beginning, and I think sometimes people look at me and think I'm crazy when I say there are no rules. There are no rules. It's about information, synthesizing that information. Oh man, that's his nose. It's supposed to be a triangle or a carrot. Oh man, fail. And then putting it out on paper. Then our snowman also could have been holding up a sign that had the 5 steps for how to build a snowman. So there's so many different ways that you can encourage visual thinking and doodling in your classroom. And there's so many different ways to not have it be one way or another, that we can really enhance our teaching. We could have doodled in the margin of a snowman's story. We could have, doodled what we were imagining as we were reading the story. Oh man, the snowman. I really wanted to nail it. And I drew that big black thing in its nose. Oh well. Ideas, not art. For those of you guys who also, thank you, Camilla, you're so sweet. For those of us who are also thinking about bringing this back into our classrooms, the snowman's a really great way to even talk about the parts of sketchnoting, right? I mean, when I was thinking about how to build a snowman, there were so many different ways I could have gone with this. I could have also taught you about how a snowman is like a sketch note. It has containers, right? It has circles. It has different colors, like the nose. It has dividers or connectors, like its arms connect things to things. So you guys could take a snowman back and have your kids draw a snowman. You could talk about how a snowman is just like a sketch note, and you guys could label it. So you could still take what's new, which is sketchnoting, and anchor it to something that they already know, which is a snowman. We decorate our snowmen with hats and scarves, which are just like the icons that we use in the sketch note, right? And the snowman could have thought bubbles about what he might think or questions he might ask. So there's lots of different ways that we can, be creative about how we bring visual thinking into our classroom. Can you guys see that okay? Well, it's a little bit off on my end. So even just in this, in this 15 minutes, you guys learned a ton of different elements. And if there's two things, I should say out live, if there's two things that I want you guys to take away from sketchnoting is that there are no rules, and that sketchnotings are an incredible tool full of so many different elements that just using one element can have an incredible impact on your classroom. It's good to see you, Linda. Yeah, I don't know if you just popped in, but we were also talking about, Linda, the idea of comparing a actual snowman to the elements of sketchnoting and using that as an anchoring tool. So the balls are the containers, and the nose is like using your colors. The arms are like dividers and connectors. The hat and the scarf are like icons because they're colors, and you can add emphasis to your snowman. I can't wait to see yours, Camilla. I'm actually going to put the hashtag on the bottom of this before I share it out when I'm done with you guys here. You have been here. I'm sorry I didn't miss you. Have you been quiet? Because I did not see you, Linda. We've been busy drawing, maybe, right? All right, you guys, we have about 7 minutes left, and I think I'm going to wrap this up in just a few minutes. But before we do, and I'm going to turn the camera around while I let you guys either finish up your drawings or type in some words. Oh, you're so welcome, Kelly. I don't think I got anybody out of their comfort zone. This group seems to be quite a phenomenal group, and I'm so super excited that I had a chance to do this. But I'm going to turn the camera around and take the last 5 minutes to let you guys ask me some questions, or if you have any questions or connections that you've made, or something that you're excited. There's my beautiful basement. That you're excited to try. I think not the best. I have lots of reasons that's best. One of my favorite reasons, one of the favorite things I like about sketchnoting is, like, tomorrow you guys could go back and automatically, like, you could start doing it. So any questions, wonders, connections that you have to sketchnoting before we say goodbye? Joy, you made it through the whole chat and your other chat too. I'm like, you got to be the queen of split screens. Oh, yes, I'm going to tweet it out. I can hold it up right now. Thank you, Joy. So this is the whole thing. Still working on my camera angles when it comes to this live YouTube stuff. So any also feedback for me, or even Kelly, for if you guys would like to do another YouTube live, I can talk to her about how to do that. Yeah, Kelly, there as assessment tool, it's great. I know my friend Stephanie Crawford, Mrs. Seaford Tweets, she does that a lot for assessments, or at least when she was in the classroom, she did. So if you wanted to connect with her with ideas, you definitely could do that. Thank you, Camilla. You're so sweet. I do, I think when we look at sketch notes, we can see them as a form of art when we look at them, like if you do a Google search and see them. But there are professional artists, there's professional graphic artists that do them. And I love that sketch notes can be anything from something that we've drawn that we love, that has our ideas and that we've connected with emotionally, that is just for us, or it can be something that we decide to share out with the world. But it's such an amazing tool for learning, and it just has some seriously powerful impact. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. We have about 4 more minutes, but unless people have questions or comments or connections, I'm going to wrap things up. I'll give us about 2 more minutes, and then I'm going to head over to Twitter, and I'm going to share out my sketch note with everybody, and then I'm going to go check out everybody else's. Kelly's asking, what digital tools do you have tried for sketchnoting? In the classroom, I personally prefer Explain Everything. It's a great tool. It's not always free. They have a good free version. I like the workflow with that, and I can send you a link to an article I wrote about how I use Explain Everything in the classroom with my students. And I also, Paper 53 is great. If you're a Google school and you have touchscreen Chromebooks, there's an app called Jamboard that looks very promising. and also very shareable. And then for my personal sketchnoting, actually, even when I'm doing live sketchnoting on my own, I do use Explain Everything. But for some more involved things, I might use Procreate, but that's a really fancy tool. I would never bring that into the classroom. But for personal use, it's worth its money. It's a really great tool. Oh, Joy, thank you so much. Joy and I are friends in real life. We actually work in the same district, but we don't see each other very often. I love to draw, Joy, and I talk about it every chance I get. It's just absolutely so close to my heart. And I love it so much and its power. Michael. Oh. Thank you so much, you guys. You are all amazing. I can't wait to see all the sketch notes. I hope you all drew with us. I think you did. Kelly, thank you again for having me. So super fun. You guys, I will also tweet out my YouTube channel. There's tons of resources on there for you. If you're looking for a beginner's guide video, there's one on there. And then also my daughters and I have my 11-year-old. I also have a 13-year-old. We do a monthly, we call it the Idea Flood Sketchnote Challenge. And so every month we put out a topic for you to share. And our videos, we keep them under 5 minutes. Usually they're 2 or 3 minutes. And we share them out at the beginning of the month, asking you to flood your paper with images and words about a topic. And then you share those back with us on Twitter, and we gather them up into a wrap-up video. If you want to see one of our wrap-up videos, I just posted one on my YouTube channel today. I would love for you guys to subscribe to it so that you always get notified whenever I post a video. But there's also other videos on my YouTube channel about how to deal with or how to work through when students say they can't draw. And then there's also other videos just about the basics of sketchnoting, and then all kinds of other fun stuff that I put on there about what I do with my teaching. Oh, Christina, it was wonderful to be with you here today, and I'm so super excited. I'm super excited to see what you guys do with your kiddos. If you guys bring it back into your classroom and you're excited to share, I love to see the pictures on Twitter and comment on them back to the kiddos or to you. It's always fun to see teachers take a leap and bring really incredible things to their students. They are a very lucky group of kids. All right, you guys, I'm going to say goodbye for today. Thank you so much to Champ for Kids. An incredible night. Holy wow. That's all I can say. I'm so super excited to have been here with you guys today. You're everybody welcome. Thank you for taking this leap with me into YouTube. This video will be on my YouTube channel from now until forever also. So if you want to show it to anybody or link it as a resource for anybody, it will be there. Thank you so much, you guys. And I will see you on Twitter, I guess. Or maybe back here because you're going to subscribe, and I'll see you later. Also, Doodle and Chat is every third Saturday of the month at 9:30 Central Standard Time. So if you loved doodling and chatting with me here, we will do it again in a couple of weeks. Have a great Tuesday and stay warm, everybody. Bye.